Hall. Thanks for being here. As any other freshman here and probably other members as well, we've just come through a campaign where I know I've had many conversations with people throughout my district and heard concerns that they've expressed. And you know, one of the top things that we've heard is people believe that the economy is not working for them as it should. They believe, they're concerned that their kids, their grandkids, will not have the same opportunities to live the American dream that we all have had. People are very concerned about that. And they're concerned that we are asking future generations to pay the bill. And isn't it true, Dr. Hall, that it's what we're doing? If we cannot solve this problem here, we're transferring that problem to future generations.
I think that's a fair statement. We do have a little literature, a little research on talking about the intergenerational effects of the debt that we can get to you, but I think that's a concern.
So that's one concern. People are also very concerned. Their perception is that their elected leaders are not willing to make the tough decisions to solve the problems that we're faced with. And I'm hoping that we're about to change that. And I'm pleased to be on the Budget Committee to work to try to solve some of these difficult issues. And I agree with many of the other comments that have been said here today. This is not a partisan issue. These are issues that we should be looking to try to find solutions. It will take us working across the aisle to move our country in the right direction. So I'm hoping that this is the beginning of finding some of those solutions. The other thing that I've heard, and I want to get to another question to you, you know, I'm Pennsylvania, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A lot of entrepreneurs, small companies who have grown, developed in technology, whatever it may be, and created jobs, more jobs. And the business owners that I talked to today believe that it is more difficult, and I was a business owner myself, and I've seen this as well. It is more difficult. There's less incentive to invest additional capital into new technologies, to hire people, because of the environment that we've created in this economy. They believe that the regulatory environment holds them back, holds individuals, holds businesses back, and prevents that kind of economic growth that we've seen before. They believe the tax policy is no longer working for them. Do you think we are seeing that kind of impact?
I certainly think that that's a potential area for improving the long-term growth, right? Because one of the two big challenges is productivity, and things like you know, some regulation. You need some regulation. Some regulation. Sure. Eliminating some regulation, you actually hurt productivity. But having regulation that's unnecessary or goes too far can impact productivity. Tax policies can impact productivity.
We've talked about whether we need to tax our way out of this, whether we need to cut spending. I think we also need to look at establishing the right environment to encourage capital investment, to encourage more hiring, to encourage activities by individuals and businesses that will create that kind of economic growth. I think it's been done before, but my question to you in this regard is, how much impact will that have? Say, for instance, we are able to get to a 3% or 4% annual growth. You know, the numbers I'm looking at look every bit as bad and worse. They don't look any better from this side of this table than they do from before, but how much impact could we have if we create an environment for much stronger economic growth?
The problem is so big, you cannot do it just with economic growth, I think. And I think one of the ways to look at that is
can you give a sense, though, of how much difference that would make?
Well, right now we think productivity is going to grow up to about 1.3% a year by the end of our 10-year period. In the 1990s, it was as high as 2%, which is very unusual. But let's say we got another 0.5 percentage point out of productivity. We're talking about, in 10 years, we're talking about having a deficit that's about $50 billion lower. So talking about the deficit going from 1.4 to 0.9. right? That's an impact, but it's not balanced, and we still have the continuing worsening of the deficit from the demographics going forward.
Thank you. My time has expired. Thank you, Madam
The
Chair.
gentleman's time has expired, and I now